This is News 8.
Good evening, I'm Airman Lee Bellinger. In the news tonight, what to do with that Christmas tree. Part 2 of our look at vehicle abuse, this weekend's weather, but tonight's top story, a step promotion here at Lajes. Starting tomorrow, the first day of 1993, the Air Force will do away with the Stripes for Exceptional Performers, or STEP program. But on the final day of the year, Lajes awarded a step promotion to one of its own.
Timothy Lovell was not only fortunate enough to be awarded a step promotion, but he is one of the last ones in the Air Force to receive the honor. This morning at the promotion ceremony in the club, Brigadier General Thomas D. Pilch, the 65th Support Wing Commander, pinned the technical stripes on the air traffic controller. For Sergeant Lovell, the promotion came as a pleasant surprise.
I missed tech by 2 points last time I tested for it and was disappointed, and now I made it, and I really appreciate it.
For News 8, I'm Airman Jennifer Crispin.
Yesterday, at Brigadier General Thomas D. Pilch's invitation, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces Azores and the Commander Azores Air Command took an orientation flight on a KC-135. But before taking to the air, Admiral Antonio Maleru Garcia and Brigadier Antonio Vasquez Osorio were given a brief tour of the 65th Air Refueling Squadron Provisionals Command Center. They were briefed on where their tanker would be flying, and they were also given a scarf and patch from the squadron's outgoing commander. Then it was out to the flight line to prepare for their nearly 2.5-hour refueling mission. And this flight was made possible through the close cooperation of the Provisional Squadron, Political Affairs, and Public Affairs. Christmas is over, and now it's time to get rid of your tree. The Civil Engineering Squadron is doing as much as possible to make sure things go smoothly by providing extra trash pickup next week.
What Civil Engineering is going to be doing is the equipment, pavements, and ground shop will be going through the housing areas as well as the cottages, and we'll be picking up discarded Christmas trees. This will happen next week, the 4th through the 8th of January. What we ask the occupants to do is to place the Christmas trees along the curbs of the primary roads running through their housing areas.
If you don't live in the housing area or cottages, you can just take your tree directly to the CE compound and they'll get rid of it for you. If your unit or organization has a tree to get rid of, just call CE Pavements and Grounds so they can come by with a truck and pick it up. Tonight in part 2 of our look at vehicle abuse, the vehicles officer for the 65th Transportation Squadron, Captain Jim Harold, explains the importance of performing the daily operator care check on your vehicles.
Okay, Sergeant Kelser is now performing an operator care check. He's checking the fluid levels on the engine, the oil, and the water. He's checking the water level on the battery. He can check the tire pressure on the tires. The reason this is important is because it's easier to buy a quart of oil when you need it than to buy a whole new engine. Earlier this year we had a larger vehicle go down because the operators hadn't checked the fluid level in about a week. It ended up costing about $6,000 for a new engine. And that's one of the reasons it's important to check that. Everybody knows that a vehicle is a really important part of doing their everyday job. It's hard to get around to some places on base without a vehicle. Just as you wouldn't take a cup of coffee or a can of Coke and pour it on your computer keyboard, you shouldn't knowingly abuse a vehicle. We feel that as the Air Force and the entire military spends less and less money on vehicle buys, it's really important that each operator become more conscientious and take care of the vehicle that is assigned to their unit. This is the only way we're going to make our dollars stretch. It's the only way we're going to extend the life of our vehicle fleet.
News 8 provides local headlines daily so you can see how our host nation views the news. Headlines are translated from local and national news sources.
Portuguese authorities are still trying to determine how many Portuguese citizens perished in the December 10th aircraft crash at the Faro, Portugal airport. Officials fear that some of the unidentified victims may be Portuguese who hold Dutch names by marriage. Some of the burned bodies have been sent to Holland for identification. Officials are waiting for the results. The Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources wants to improve water quality in the country. Ministry officials will start fining city halls that neglect to conduct regular water analysis to determine water quality levels. Officials also say most city halls are equipped to perform such analysis. Host Nation headlines are translated and provided by the 65th Support Wing Public Affairs Office. I'm Airman Cindy Henner.
Taking a look at weather, Lajes had partly cloudy skies today, a high temperature of 58 degrees and an overnight low of 43 degrees. The winds are out of the southwest, 5 to 10 knots, that's 5 to 12 miles per hour, and the relative humidity was 75%. And here with the forecast for the three-day weekend is Lieutenant Luis Rijos.
Lajes weather was influenced by high pressure to the south and developing low pressure to the north and west. Under partly cloudy skies, it reached a high of 58 degrees after an overnight low of 43. Winds were out of the southwest at 5 to 10 knots or 6 to 12 miles an hour. The satellite loop shows high pressure to the south and a developing low pressure system to the north. As the pressure system gets closer to Lajes, we expect the winds to pick up late tonight into tomorrow morning, as well as increase the cloud cover and the possibility of rain showers. For Friday and Saturday, expect mostly cloudy skies with occasional rain showers. Winds out of the south-southwest at 30, gusting to 50 knots. Highs in the upper 50s to low 60s, with lows in the low 50s. For Sunday, expect winds out of the south-southwest at 30, gusting to 45 knots. High temperatures in the low 60s and lows in the mid-50s.
The AMC passenger terminal has quite a few flights leaving the island over the weekend. All flights are C-141s. Tomorrow morning, there's a flight bound for Rota and one flying to Frankfurt. Tomorrow night, there's a flight bound for Norfolk. On Saturday morning, there's one headed to Frankfurt, another one destination Dover, and a flight flying to Frankfurt. On Saturday afternoon, you'll have a chance to fly to Dover. On Sunday morning, there's a flight headed to Frankfurt, one bound for Dover, another one destination Ramstein, another one to Frankfurt, and one bound for Frankfurt. On Sunday afternoon, there's a flight headed to Charleston, one bound for Dover, and a flight destination McGuire. For more information, just call the terminal at 23227. In money matters, the dollar was up one from yesterday, finishing at 146 escudos to the dollar. And here's how the dollar fared against the currencies of some other European countries. Please remember, next Monday morning, children will return to school. With the recent time change, the children will be walking to school in the dark, so parents are reminded to dress their children in light colored clothing, and drivers are reminded to watch their speed and drive carefully. And one final note, tomorrow's lineup on Island 96 will look a little different because of the holiday. From 6 until 1, it'll be the American Country Countdown. At 1, it'll be Lori Allen, and from 2 until 6, the American Top 40 Countdown. And the rest of the evening will be normal programming. And that is News 8 for this, the final day of 1992. I'm Airman Lee Bellinger, and for the entire news staff and everyone here at AFRTS Lajes, have a great and safe New Year.